Hey, what's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? This is your boy Twice,
And it's your girl Tay.
and this is another episode of Facts and Feelings. I'm sorry, y'all. Listen, we want everybody to go on and share this out. We know that nobody is on yet, but as you come on, if you see this, or if you're watching the replay, go on and share it out. We're going to go on and we're going to share it out as well. We're not going to ask y'all to do anything that we're not doing. So we're going to run this intro real quick, and then we'll be right back with today's topic.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you're feeling. I don't know if you know what's for real. Baby, just relax and chill. Let the tea spill. I bet the chemistry stop the bill. I wonder if it's facts that you feeling. I love the fact you chillin'. These hours fly by when you and I is chillin'. These hours fly by, feel like a couple minutes. Seen you on my timeline. Hold up, wait a minute, twice and take. Yeah, you know they always catching up. Keep us up to date, cause it's hard to keep up through the day.
All right, y'all. We are back today. I got this picture up there because we're going to be discussing Jordan Chiles. I'll go on and take that down now. Again, this is Twice.
And it's your girl Tay.
All right, like Tay came up with this topic today, and I think it was a good topic. I didn't know that there was some more developments when it comes to this bronze medal, and I didn't quite run the title of the podcast by her today. But we can see that I named it "They Stole the Bronze Medal," and I won't say that's how we feel. I'll say that's how I feel, and then I'll let Tay jump on that. But we know y'all. We always give y'all a facts and a what, Tay.
A feeling.
Right. So just the fact is what it is. Jordan Childs won the bronze medal, and she no longer has it. Right. So
Right.
how we feel about it, I think we've already established that. I feel like they stole it. How you feel about that, Tay?
Yeah, I definitely feel like they snug her, they snagged it from her, and I feel like they need to give it back to her. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
need to
agree.
make it right. Yeah.
I agree. And that's the thing, man. Like I say, when you hit me with this today, I had to go and read the article that you actually sent me, and I see what Nana said. She feels the same way. Agreed. Uh,
Yeah.
and so at first, I got to be honest. We keep it 100 with the viewers. I was like, well, I don't really know. I know what was going on, but I didn't know if it would be an interesting enough topic for us to cover. But when I see the back and forth that's transpired, I'm like, man, this is really dirty, and it's dirty on the international level. If it's just to be honest, because it is the Olympics. Anything you want to say before we jump in and just talk about the facts?
Well, I guess I just feel like when you mess up on something, you just got to make it right. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And I understand with the young lady, you know, that also was competing, who has also been told that she was the third, she won third place. I understand how it's got to be like an emotional roller coaster for her as well. So I
Right.
just think they need to, just kind of do a tie for third place or something, do something different than what they've done in the past. When I say they, meaning the Olympics.
Mhm.
And they just got to make it right. They got to make it right.
Right.
Yeah.
So before I read the article that you shared with me, Tay, and then I kind of jumped to another one. I'm gonna kind of start there because it kind of just started out. The other article just kind of started out with saying that initially Jordan Child's coach, she actually went to, I guess, the judges or whoever it was that she was supposed to go to,
Hmm.
and she felt like that she wasn't. Her name is Coach Cecile Landy, and she filed an appeal soon after Jordan Child's floor routine, and she felt
Hmm.
like she wasn't judged really on the difficulty of her event or of what her performance, and that's how it
Hmm.
started. And I'm sure you probably read a little bit more about me, but after they granted that, it took her from like I think it was like a whatever the score was. It took her up like 0.1.
13.66.
Yeah, 13.666. And then after they did the after she argued that point, they knocked her up to 13.766.
Yeah.
And that was enough to propel her into third place, right? And I think it propelled her in front of two Romanians. Were they Romanian? Yeah,
Yeah.
Romanians.
Uh-huh.
And then so after that propelled her up before them, of course, they had something to say, right?
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
And then, I think they said that their argument or their questioning was past the 1 minute mark.
Right, right. The
Right.
Romanian officials, yeah, they filed a complaint with the Court of Arbitration
Right.
for sports. Yeah, and
And
they
so,
basically said they were 4 seconds late.
right, they were
Mhm.
4 seconds late. And then so I knew that much, and another little tidbit that I'll add in a minute. But after that, um, the US team, I think it's the USA Gymnastics, is called the USAG, they made the argument that, hey, and they provided proof. No, we wasn't late.
Mhm.
Did we question this or submit the initial inquiry? Let me word that right. They submitted the initial inquiry at 47 seconds and even a second one at 55 seconds. So where you're saying they were late, they proved they weren't late. And then one of these alphabet soups, the CSA or somebody, come back and say, well, we're not going to keep on going back and forth. After
Mhm.
you have an inquiry. We answered that. It was rebutted, so to speak, and then we went back to it, and we ain't finna keep doing the back and forth. I guess they like your
Right.
boy said they ain't finna keep going back and forth. But it's in the words of I said it was stole, but in the words of Jordan Chiles, it's unjust, it's unfair, it's unright.
Yeah. Right. Right. It's not right. And it was the CAS, the Court of Arbitration for Sports. Yeah,
Right.
they reinstated her, original score after the Romanian officials filed a complaint. Um, which end up, leading the International Olympic Committee, which also is called the IOC, to reallocate the bronze medal from Chiles and give it to the Romanian
It,
contester, Anna.
Anna Barroso,
Yeah, Barbosu.
Barbasu.
Barbosu.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
probably chopping it up.
Right. Right.
So yeah, but yeah, and so that it's too much back and forth because you gave it a 13.66. I feel like whoever when they had to go and appeal the time or whatever, when her coach went and appealed the time, there should be something in place where they have a time clock in front of them to
Mm-hmm.
track the time for themselves. Nobody should have to tell you where they were 4 seconds too late,
Right.
or even
Right.
5 seconds, or them saying that no, we came at 47 seconds, and then here's another evidence showing that we were disputing this at 55 seconds. Like, it shouldn't be them having to prove this outside of them, just making their complaint, period. And
Right.
so they should have had something already in place where they were able to make that decision on their own without the judges having to go back and forth,
Right.
with complaints and disputes or whatever. And
Right.
this would have kind of silenced everything. So
Right.
you didn't give it to it, and you came back and you gave it to it, and you took it away. So
Right.
it is unjust,
Right.
and no slight to Anna. Is
Right.
just it's unfair to both of them,
Right.
in
It
my
is.
opinion.
It
Yeah.
is. Uh, and I was finna say something, but before I say that, when we talked very briefly earlier, you even compared it to another situation where something like that would happen and it was unfair. Did you want to just speak on that briefly, just to make the comparison?
Yeah, it reminds me of the situation with the Miss Universe pageant when
Right.
Steve Harvey, accidentally crowned Miss Columbia when it was Miss Philippines that had actually won the title. And
Right.
so I saw an interview not long ago from Steve Harvey, and he was basically kind of explaining that this is what was being told to him at the time, was that he was to crown Miss Columbia. And
Right.
so he said as soon as he was getting ready to walk off, they told him that was wrong. Like they made a mistake, and it
Right.
was actually supposed to be Miss Philippines. And so he was like, they were trying to figure out how they were going to do it. And he mentioned that they were saying that they would do a press release later, because everything was alive. And he said, no, I'm going to fix this now. And he
Right.
said in that moment, even though it wasn't on him because he was taking the lead from somebody else, he didn't want to take that moment away from Miss Philippines, although he had to snatch it away from Miss Columbia. And
Right.
so it reminded me a lot of that because, she went from a high to a real, real low in
Right.
that very moment.
Right.
And I can only
Understandable.
imagine how Jordan and Anna have been going back and forth, over the past week or so.
Right.
Yeah, so it's just one of those things where you got to come out and you got to fix this, and it's not one of those situations where it was a read of a wrong name or speaking the wrong name through an earpiece.
Right.
This was something where you went through changing scores. And
Right.
so they just
Exactly.
got to make it right. They got to make it right,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And before I brought that up, one of the things that I want to speak to, or not even just echo, but like reinforce what you said,
Mm-hmm.
is when you was talking about, certain things just shouldn't happen. It shouldn't have
Mm-hmm.
even been on uh, the U.S. coach to make that initial
Right.
inquiry, then for the Romanian coaches to have to come back. You think about the where the Olympic Committee gets countries together from all over, get them to meet in one place,
Yeah.
uh, coordinate all these events. Like y'all got that kind of muscle, that got kind of power. How do we come down to this? And then when you just come to think about just the NBA came to mind. When something go on, you have the referees. They go over, they rewind the clock, they look at it, they do all this stuff on the spot. So it's almost like you said, why did the U.S. coach even have to question this? Or when she did
Right.
question it, why did they have to provide proof? Why y'all couldn't? I mean, y'all hired these camera people, or y'all gave
Yeah.
these camera people access, and y'all should have y'all own camera people. Y'all should be able to rewind cameras back, make
Yes.
that call
Mm-hmm.
where the CSA, I believe, didn't want to go back and forth. They shouldn't have had to go back and forth because something had been in place. Now watch this. Just like in football with like Calvin Johnson catching that pass in the end zone against the Cowboys that time, they're gonna have something in place now. But
Yeah.
what about
Yeah.
now? You know what I'm saying? And, and,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it, just like with the Steve Harvey situation. He felt embarrassed because he was the one that made the announcement, even though it wasn't on him. I'm
Right.
sure some people with the Olympics feel embarrassed. And then you have two different people that's conflicted. I love the way Jordan has came out, after days and made a response, and how we'll get to that. But yeah, some got to be done. This might be have the first year two people get bronze medals, because guess what? It wasn't her fault and it wasn't
Right.
Anna's fault. It
It
wasn't their
wasn't.
fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And that's the thing, it's just one of those things where there should be a replay, like you said,
Right,
with any other sports, there's a replay. And with the Olympics being something that's so big and doesn't come around so often, you would think that they have all these things in place. And there were so many, but with any organized event, sometimes things can just go wrong. But there were so
right,
many different things that you're hearing, from different people. Like with the track and field, they walked off because they wouldn't give them adequate space and the place to warm up. It's just so many different obstacles that seem to have taken place with some of the competitors and the participants of the Olympics in France this year. That there's gonna have to be a lot of things that will have to be
right,
cleaned up,
right.
before the next 4 years comes around. So
Right.
yeah.
And I actually went live on my personal page too, Tay, so we can't see Carmen's comments on that page. But Carmen Kelly Gray said, she would just comment on what said, it's like Steve
Yeah.
Harvey looked like the bad guy, and the judges never got any heat behind that. It's like
Right,
the
right.
person to make the mistake can fly under the radar when all this
Right.
commotion is going on because of what you did wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
it's one of those things that's been a joke about Steve Harvey for the longest,
Exactly. Right.
until he came out and really just set the record straight because he said,
Right.
"Look, I'm tired of I'm tired of this joke. Let me just go and tell y'all what really happened, how it really
Right.
went down."
Right.
But in that moment, because he made the announcement, he took responsibility for it and he took ownership for it and he made it right in that moment.
Right.
And
For
that's
sure.
exactly what needs to happen now, because the they're waiting on the appeal process to go through with the, I think it's the Swiss Federal Tribunal. Tribunal
So it's not final
it's
yet.
a higher judicial branch.
So it's not
And
final
so,
yet. It's not final yet.
no, well,
Okay.
it was made final, but the USA is just not giving up on it. So
Gotcha.
now, they're trying to appeal to the Swiss Federal Tribunal, um, because they're a higher judicial branch, and so they're trying to see what they're going to do. I think at the end of the day, for this situation, it's just bad because these people, these participants, these competitors, they practice and they put in, all their heart, sweat, blood, and tears, to prepare for such a high, distinguished competition, and to get down to something as simple as whether or not they were 4 seconds late or whether or not they complained before then. It just shouldn't come down to that. You
Right.
know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying? Yeah.
Right.
And then some of the I saw how Jordan came out and she was so appreciative of everybody that has shown her love and support, with this situation. But unfortunately, she's also faced some, racial comments,
Right. I
about
seen
her.
that.
And that's so unfair and it's so unfortunate because why? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It shouldn't even come down to that.
Right.
This young girl competed, you know what I'm saying, just the same as Anna did. And
Right.
and it's just so unfortunate because it's neither of their, fault. It
Right.
falls back on the Olympics,
Right.
the International Olympics Committee, and whoever at that time was overseeing that time, and the time between the the complaint and everything. It falls back on those who were responsible for keeping up with that time. If we
Right.
know that there's only a 60-second window that a person can come and dispute their score, then we should be paying attention to that 60 seconds.
Right.
And nobody, that has competed should have to be taking backlash from racial slurs and everything because they're just trying to defend themselves and the title that they won. And even on the other side with Anna, defending herself because she feels like I rightly came in third place.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so it's
Right.
very unfortunate.
Right. And a lot of things you spoke to another comment that Carmen made was she was just saying, right, the replay is like the replay for the NBA is the safety net. And you think the Olympics is even on a bigger scale. They're gonna need a safety net as well. And just speaking about that racial, not backlash, but the racial things that the driven attacks, as Jordan said, the racial driven attacks. And I'm just thinking about what we just said with Steve Harvey. He caught the heat, the judges didn't. What did Jordan do wrong? Nothing. Train hard and
Nothing.
compete.
That's
Train,
right.
but that just shows just how dark of a world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
Your hands can be clean, and then people still attack your race. And then Naya made a comment to that just said it was a lot of racially motivated things altogether. She feels that even with the Jamaican track girls and Shakari, and
Right.
I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
specifics, but I remember some things as well. And
Yeah.
right, uh, it's crazy, man. It's one thing about being on certain platforms or in the spotlight. Sometimes people do things to make people attack them. And then those times where you do nothing. Somebody else make a mistake. Don't nobody, I'm not gonna say don't nobody know the judge name, but I haven't seen or heard where nobody is attacking the judge like that for or on their social media. But here Jordan is catching, and I don't know what Anna has going through, but people cruel, so I'm sure some people have said some things to her, and it's just unfair to
Hmm.
them. And
Yeah,
we've said it, and I see where Nana has said that they need to make it right and give them both bronze medal. And I
they
agree. That
do.
was that
They
was
do.
my something needs to be done. Something needs
Yeah.
to be done.
They do, because how you gonna take my medal and give it to somebody else, or how you gonna take somebody else's and give it to me? You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Because you've taken that moment from me. If you really think that I won and I came in third place, so I just think that, yeah, they need to do better. They need to fix the situation, and then also just in this situation as a whole. Yeah, like Naya said, it doesn't fall on either athlete. It doesn't,
right. It
because
don't.
it's not their fault. And even the judge, or the person responsible, it is still, although responsibility falls on them as far as that time is concerned, it still does not give people the right to, you know, um, call them out of their names and things of that nature. Mistakes happen, but I
Right,
just think we need to fix our mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, just in life in general, when we know we've unconsciously or accidentally, um, made a mistake, and it can be detrimental to somebody else. How do we fix it? You know
right,
what I'm saying? Like, we gotta fix it. We
right,
just gotta bite the bullet, and we gotta
right,
fix it, and we gotta make it right. Because at,
right,
at, at this point and in this moment, um, the International Olympics, they just need to, the committee needs to come forth, and they just need to give both of the girls bronze medals.
right,
Unfortunately, that's just what I think is going to be the best thing that they could potentially do in this situation. Give
right,
Jordan her medal back, and also give Anna one. And,
right,
kudos to Flavor Flav for that
right,
bronze clock that he
right, right,
got crafted up for.
right.
So I know that
Flav,
she
right.
appreciates all the support and everything she's gotten from so many people.
Flav been doing a lot lately. I can't remember what it was, but Flav did something like this was the second thing he's probably done in like a week or two that was to that
Hmm.
magnitude.
Yeah,
Uh, and I don't mean to switch gears, but it just made me think about our Mississippi State Bulldog, Chris Jones. That article you sent me the other day,
hmm,
that was huge. Where I think it was a school teacher or somebody in the school district who's serving time for
yeah,
supposedly or allegedly stealing chicken, and it's
yeah.
like one
Cafeteria worker, I
cafeteria
think.
work like one point
Yeah,
five million dollars, and he then came out and said he'll pay it. Like I pay the 1.5 million to let her out. So it's just kind of good to see people with status, people with money, people that can actually trying to make things right or bail people out.
right. Yeah, and and like, it was a lot of controversy behind that as well, because the lady, had allegedly stole this, chicken from the school over the course of many years.
Okay.
And she wasn't stealing money; she was stealing chicken, and it doesn't make it right. But we can tell, if she's constantly stealing chicken, stealing food, there's a lack there. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel that in those moments, sometimes we kind of got to take a step back and really assess the situation.
Right.
I know somebody paid for that chicken, I'm not
Right.
oblivious to that. But given the situation with Chris Jones stepping up to pay the money back that the lady, owes, I think that was huge, very
Mhm.
humanitarian, on his side. But yeah, and it is, like, the lady obviously needed food. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And,
And again, it doesn't make it
not
right.
justifying anything, but
Yeah, but I,
right.
I don't think that the time that they were giving her,
Right.
can't remember if it was 7 years or
Right.
nine
It's
years,
like it really don't match
but
the crime.
no, it
Right.
don't.
And
Not
it
when you
was
got pedophiles out here, and sexual predators and murderers, getting off for killing people, taking a
mhm.
whole life. You want to lock this lady away for 9 years for
Right.
taking chicken, and you letting
Right.
somebody that has taken somebody's life.
Somebody life
You know
probably
what I'm
do less
saying?
time.
Yeah,
It's,
like,
it kind of
make that
goes to
make
what,
sense. Yeah,
right? It's like Carmen said, America. America has its priorities all wrong. I can agree with that. Uh,
Yeah.
right. She said, and then again, I did want to say this. It was on my mind and it came back. I did bring that Chris Jones situation up, and with that, for me, and I believe for Tay, what I'll say is that's how we felt about it. We don't know all the facts.
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, I know it was over a time period. So for anybody that might be saying, have something to say, like, we don't know the facts. It's just something that came to my mind on it. But like when our viewers Naya just said 9 years for some chicken, like make it make sense, like you said.
Yeah,
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 yeah. I'll leave that right there. But like you
yeah.
said, it's people that has taken lives that has gotten far less punishment.
Right, right. And I'm not saying that she don't deserve some type of punishment
Right,
because at the end of the day, she stole, the people's food. But I
right,
just don't feel like 9 years matches that.
right. I'm in
And I
agreement.
agree with Carmen. When my kids hungry and I ain't got the money, to feed them, like you got to do what you got to do to make sure your kids eat. That doesn't mean that I'm saying I'm preparing to go out here and steal. You know what I'm saying? I always try to come up with some kind of hustle or some kind of game plan. But I just hate to see the lady
Right,
get 9 years for
right,
stealing
right,
chicken. But we gonna
right.
leave the chicken thing
Right, we're
alone.
gonna leave it alone. But it is Carmen did make another comment before she jumped over here, and I don't know all the facts about it, but it is I do vaguely remember. You remember Tay, but she was speaking to where she think it was Russia, but she's not sure. But where like 20 years ago, some medals was taken from some athletes from a particular country, and I think they awarded their gold medals back. So,
Hmm.
but it's one of those things too, where yeah, I mean, what happened in that situation? Could y'all apply this to this? Let's just say it like this: don't take this is our plea. We don't know if y'all see that, but Olympic Committee, don't take 20 years to make this right.
Right.
Technology is better today than it was 20 years ago. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Y'all
Yeah.
probably had to go revisit some things. The facts is the facts. The facts have been provided.
Yeah.
Uh, one of the alphabet soups, CAS, I believe, have just made a decision that we ain't gonna go back and forth. Well, why wouldn't you want to
Hmm.
go back and forth to make what's right be right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they gotta fix it. They gotta fix it, and I'm really waiting to see what the outcome of this ends up being because
Right.
they most definitely have to fix it. And even with the Olympics winning those medals, also comes financial.
Yeah, it's a
Gift and
bag to come with it.
so yeah, this a little bit deeper than just that
Right.
medal. You know what I'm
Right. It's a
saying?
little bit deeper.
So
It's a
the
bag to
medal
come with it.
is definitely rewarding and is what they look forward to. But now when you get to talking about you taking somebody
My
coins back,
coins. I knew you were gonna say coins. That's
get
your
a little
word.
bit deeper.
Right.
Get a
Right.
little deeper.
And then we
So
had this conversation, which is kind of a little switch, but I just kind of seen certain people talking about just before the Olympics started that I never really realized that the purse was different depending on your country. Like if you win that gold medal, if you in the United States, it's much smaller than some of these other countries get. And we
mhm.
did kind of say, well, maybe it had something to do with the currency exchange,
Yeah,
but
right, right.
some of them numbers were so big. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I just think they think we don't need it. But the
Yeah.
but the prize is supposed to be the prize. So I'm gonna have to get the
Hmm.
facts on that before I tell y'all how I feel too much. But right now,
Yeah.
that's how I feel.
Yeah, like Damari said, that currency
Yeah,
is
that
different.
currency is
You think
different.
about how the currency was for us in like Mexico,
Right.
Cuba, some these
Yeah.
other areas.
Yeah, and that's a good
So
point. Because I think in
yeah,
Cuba we gave them what $100 and they gave us like 29,000
yeah,
pesos.
yeah. It
It was
it
a
was like
bunch.
70
What?
something. Yeah, it was like 70,000. Yeah, it was a big number.
Well, I know. Well, that's neither here nor there. But
Yeah,
we
it
don't
was like
jump into.
70,000. But
I
yeah,
thought it was like 300 and something to the dollar. So yeah,
hmm, yeah. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they gotta
hey,
fix
hey,
it.
what Carmen say? She said, "Currency exchange, my tail running, run me my
Yeah,
money."
I know that's right in the middle.
Yeah, right. Both of them. Both of them.
Hmm.
Anything else we want to put out there? I mean, hopefully this sparked some conversation and and cause people to kind of dig that hadn't already dug. Maybe some maybe some people will see this that hadn't seen it. Hey, if y'all don't do nothing but Google Flavor Flav and Jordan Childs and go look at that bronze clock he gave her. It ain't that
It's real
metal.
nice.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's
it was
nice.
nice. It
And salute
was.
to him. Salute to him.
Yeah, real nice. So I think in this also just kind of being a lesson to all of us moving forward. When you know you made a mistake and you've done something that affects other people, you know, it may not affect you the same way because you don't have a prize to win. You know, you
Right,
don't have a prize to actually receive and something to put up on the shelf to say I competed and I beat. You know, I won this, you know, and
right,
I got these coins to match it. So it don't affect you the same way. But
right.
at the end of the day, when you know you made a mistake and it affects somebody, however it affects them, make it right.
For
Just make it
sure.
right.
For
Yeah,
sure. Make it right. Make it right.
yeah,
With that, we're
yeah.
gonna close out. That's what we're gonna leave them with today, Tay.
That's it.
All right, well, man, again, do y'all research and keep following because I didn't know that it had I didn't know till today that they approved the time and that that I think it was CSA has decided they wasn't gonna stick with it. And I learned within
Yes.
this, I learned, and this is our podcast, that it's not completely over. The US is still fighting and it's in the hands of somebody
Hmm.
else. So,
Yeah.
if it's something that you're interested in, definitely follow the story because it ain't over yet. So this has been another Facts and Feelings, the podcast. This is your boy Twice,
And it's your girl Tay.
and y'all holler at us next Thursday about 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Y'all hold it down.
I wonder if it's facts or feelings that you feel.